Hello, welcome to this channel. I am Kouki. So yes, you read it correctly. You read it right. You are also spiritual. Everybody is spiritual, and that is why the spiritual journey is for everyone. Okay? Now you might wonder that is it a woo-woo thing? It is just something, it's like a new age trend that the girls talk about it, or the men who are feminine enough to talk about spirituality? Not really, because in fact you are also spiritual. So now for this particular video, the overview of what we're going to talk about is that first of all, I would love to share with you my perspective, my personal perspective on what is being spiritual, what is the spiritual journey, what is it that we are all doing here on this planet Earth. And second part of the video would be talking about enlightenment. What is enlightenment? Oh my god. Ooh, right. What is enlightenment? Why is it such a, it's like a somewhere that is far away that only a few chosen one can reach. I'm just being a little bit dramatic, okay? Just bear with me. Oh, so now let's start with the first part, which is what is spirituality? What is being spiritual? What is the spiritual journey? You know what? If we put it into a more practical sense of seeing what spirituality is, it is basically like going to the gym. Going to the gym. Like you if you go to the gym, you know that you have to be consistent. Only then you would get muscular. Right? Only then you can train your abs. And you, or your biceps, okay, or your biceps. So you gotta be consistent with it. Only then your muscles can be trained. Now, similarly, spirituality is essentially also about consistency. It is practice, but it's not practicing the muscles. It's not practicing training the muscles. It's more about training the mind, body, and soul to become in alignment. The three of them: mind, body, soul, to be in alignment. That is what the practice is for. It is science. It is science. Now, similarly, when you practice training your biceps or whatever it is science, right? Like how heavy for the weights do you have to lift? How long do you have to do um, the training for? How many times? How many repetition for each week? For each session, right? It's all about science. It is about practicality. It's just that for spirituality, it seems a little bit ungrounded because it is. Essentially speaking, we all need to go through a process of ungroundedness, but at the same time keep balancing to stay grounded. Only then we would be able to be more and more balanced. It's an ongoing journey. It is not that from point A to point B. It is not linear. It is all expansive. Expansive, okay? EXPANSIVE, okay? Not PEN, okay? So it's all expansive. It's all well-rounded, 360 degrees. And that is what the spiritual journey is for. So essentially speaking, it is like going to the gym because it involves consistency, it involves science, it involves dedication, okay, and it is also practical. It is practical. It different. There are different branches. There are different ways of practicing, or different kind of practices. Um, just a quick example: if you follow the, if you practice tantra, that's already one branch, right? Tantric Buddhism. If you practice Zoroastrianism, that's another branch. I mean, they are religion in a sense, but what they essentially set out as, they were methods. These are methodologies. If we put it into like a academic context, they are simply methodologies, but not in the way that is presented in the modern day or contemporary academia. Okay, they just have their own set of rules and set of doctrines. We can say it this way, to express themselves. But all in all, they are all methodologies to anchor different ways of practices and put them into systems. All right. So, but the topic that I was talking about was about everyone is spiritual. So we just mentioned what is spirituality in a sense, right? And mentioning different kind of branches. They're just basically all methodologies. And it is science with practicality, right? That's what it was for spirituality. But what does being spiritual mean? I said you are also spiritual. Yes, whoever you're watching this video right now, you are also spiritual. And whoever is not watching this video, they are also spiritual. Now, let's play a little game. Not mind game, okay? No, we don't play mind games. We play intelligent games. We play fun games. No, look now. Now I'm gonna ask you a question. So when it comes to the word spiritual, right? Why do you think is spiritual? Spirit, right? Spirit, like what? When I say the word spirit, what does it remind you of? What does it remind you of? Spirit, something that is formless, right? Something that is not of not of matter. Not of matter. Not of matter. Spirit. So what does it mean by being spiritual? Think about it. Spirit. Now there's a hint right there. What do you think? Comment below if you want to answer this question, or if you don't want to comment below, that's also fine. We're just having a little brainstorm game here. Spiritual, spirit. So this is the entire key word here, which is spirit. Now the spiritual journey is all about connecting all of us back to our spirit selves. And that is why it's called spirituality. Okay, spirit, that's the key word. And then you might wonder, then what like, huh? Like how, why we connect ourselves to spirit selves? Like, look, no, we are matter, we are, humans, we are, right? You might wonder that. Well, now I'm not here to convince you, I'm just here to share with you what I understand from within. Okay, we are all spirits. We are actually all spirits. You are, I am, she is, he is, they are, we are. Okay, now we are having a human experience here in this vessel that is in matter form. Matter, okay, material. We are on a material plane, but you are asleep, or you're already awakened. Some of us are still sleeping, still asleep. It doesn't mean that they are less intelligent. No, it's just that everyone is in their own time zone. Okay, some would like to go through certain experiences first before they wake up. It is part of the journey. It is part of how they want to experience this material world. this material plane is according to one's own design. So your own spirit self, designs yourself here to anchor on this plane, this material plane, so that you can have a human experience. Because if not, you would not be able to have such an experience of experiencing matter. You see, you can if you touch your fingers right now, you can feel it, right? But when you're in spirit form, so to speak, there's not really a form, but yeah, when you're in spirit self, you can't touch. You're like a ghost. But it's not actually ghost. It's simply you are composed of energy. Imagine it's like a lot of light particles. Okay? You're composed of light particles. And so you can rearrange yourself at your will. Because they are not composed of matter. There's no friction. Does it make sense? So you can rearrange yourself in any way and so to appear in any form. But you don't have a body. You don't have a physical body. And thus, you can rearrange yourself, your light particles, imagine in this way, okay? So then you can appear differently, in different ways. However, since you don't have a physical body as your spirit self, you would not be able to experience matter. Matter, right? Matter. You will not be able to experience matter. Now, so what you did was that you wanted to have an experience as a human or on the material plane, because it doesn't have to be human. It's not just Earth. It's on the material plane, right? There are many other planets on this plane. So that are also in the physical plane, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So it's just you chose Earth. Okay, you chose Earth to experience this human experience. So now, I was saying that everyone is spiritual. And exactly because you designed yourself to have an experience here. And so you actually have your own spirit self watching you now. And that is what in Buddhism, they call it the witness consciousness. The witness consciousness, who is the witness? Your spirit self. That's you, yourself. You are witnessing yourself here, playing this game. That is why I have been subtly suggesting the analogy of playing video games. How we play video games here. Like imagine if you play Super Mario, right? You are holding that controller, right? And you are the one that picked the characters. You are the one that can even design the characters if you have such tools. You can pick. You can even adjust the abilities. Magical ability up to 5 point, manual abilities, labor abilities, 2 points, intelligence ability, 8 point. You can adjust it. For some video games we can, right? That's exactly what it is. If I've put it as an analogy when it comes to the spiritual realm. Spiritual realm. So you can actually design your own character. And that's what we call as a soul. A soul. You design a character that is a soul. Now, there are many different ways of arranging such souls. Okay, soul accounts, which I actually see as accounts. Like video games, you have an account, and so you can have a character in an account, or even several characters in one account. So one soul account is an analogy. I'm using analogy to describe this. And so you can then you can have various experiences as you anchor yourselves onto different planets and onto different planes. Fun, right? Fun is fun. Now, and so you are actually spiritual. It's just you forgot about it. You forgot about it. And so that's why in many other religions, they've also talked about it as well. Now, in Hinduism, they would sometimes depict Vishnu as sleeping, right? Sleeping. And Vishnu is the surrounded by blue the ocean sometimes, okay, and Vishnu would be sleeping, and there would be certain serpents, cobras, or even, okay, surrounding him, Vishnu. What? But then the thing is, in the sacred text, they would say Vishnu sees everything, knows everything, but his eyes are closed in some of the pictures, images. What is it trying to say? It's actually talking about, yes, Vishnu sees everything, because that's the witness. That's your spirit self. But why would be his eyes are closed like this? It's because he is sleeping. Like, if you have not realized that you're actually playing a game here, you know, like having a human experience, and so you would then be asleep. So why would people say awakened? Some people are awakened. He's awakened. You know, as in spiritually speaking, that's exactly what it's trying to say. Awakened means you realize that, oh, there's actually more to this than like more to my daily life, that I am just chasing material things, possessions, or any kind of relationships. There's much more to this. And yes, that's basically saying you are awakened to the fact that the world is an illusion. The illusion is, sometimes people would say, a simulation. A simulation, you know, like in the Matrix, you know, like this. It's a simulation. In a sense, yes, it is a simulation, but it's more of a combination between organic and artificial, kind of, basically it's technology, okay? It's more of an organic and technological combination, and thus form into such a simulation. But I would say, even if I describe it this way, it is in a very, very brief way, because there's so much more details and much more complexity in it, okay, when it comes to designing such a game. So in fact, every solar system is a mini game. Every solar system is a game. So, like, how I would give an analogy would be, if you play, like, again, Super Mario. If you play Super Mario, there are different worlds, right? There are different worlds. You have to go from this world to another world, or you can sometimes switch worlds after you go back to the home page, right? You can see the map, isn't it? Now that's that. What I'm trying to say is there are different worlds, isn't it? So that's kind of like there are different planets in our solar system: Venus, Mars, okay, Saturn, stuff like this. Now, another way of thinking, like Mario Kart. I love using this example. Mario Kart, you can choose different worlds to play the car racing, right? Different kind of experience, because it would be a different setting. It would be a different setting, different design. Similarly, every planet is like a different setting, different design, a different playground. So now that you chose Earth, this is one of the playgrounds, one of the million, billion playgrounds that you can choose from, and you chose Earth. Your higher self, your spirit self, okay? That's basically you. So, yeah, it's a game. So fun, isn't it? And you might be a little bit mind blown right now. Maybe you're not. Maybe you've already heard of all of this. But so, what I basically want to point out here is that, or what I want to illustrate, is you're spiritual. Everyone is spiritual. The spiritual journey is to connect oneself back to our own spirit self. And that is what the spiritual journey is for. When I'm talking about the human context, the human understanding of spirituality, okay, the spiritual journey. Why am I stressing on this? It's a human concept. Spirituality is a human concept. It would be totally different when it comes to another planet, other civilizations on other planets. Okay, this is a human understanding on the process of connecting oneself back to spirit self, to source, meaning unity consciousness. The spiritual journey is essentially the process of reconnecting the entire planetary system, including all beings on it, okay, the civilizations, to unity consciousness. Okay, that is the process. So humans put this kind of this understanding into the word spirituality. Because when you connect to unity consciousness, basically everyone is more or less being aware of their own spirit self. Okay, being aware of, not necessarily all connected to, but being aware of, and that is already very important. And it would get more and more refined as people, individuals progress on their own spiritual journey. Because on the whole, as a collective, from the collective point of view, if we see from like an entire planetary consciousness, then it is unity consciousness, right? It's kind of like you find the median when it comes to statistics. The median, you would that is more or less what we're talking about in unity consciousness. But it has to reach a certain vibration, only then it would be at a more balanced state, right? It would not fluctuate as much. So it's like you're stabilizing it, stabilizing, like how you do pottery. You're stabilizing it, and so now it over time it would not be like this. It would be more like okay, like this. Okay, so that's more of unity consciousness. Less fluctuation means less chaotic peaks, and less chaotic peaks, it means more stabilized. It means more balanced, right? So it would be more and more peaceful. Okay, less fluctuation. Think of wavelengths. Okay. So yeah, that's what spirituality is, and that's what spiritual journey is. And now, that was the first part. Now, quickly, we're going to go into the part 2. This is going to be quite brief because it's just kind of like the sprinkle, the shiny things on top of the cupcake, which is enlightenment. So what is enlightenment? The reason that I have to talk about part 1 first is because I wanted to lay out the understanding of what is spiritual journey according to human perception. And that's what I mentioned just now, right? A few minutes ago. Spirituality, when it comes to the human perception of it, they think some people might think it's quite woo-woo, it's so ungrounded. But in fact, it's practical. It's just a scientific process of how we connect oneself to our own self, spirit self. It's a process. It's a systematic approach. It's just unseen with the eyes, with the human eyes. Because we're dealing with energies when it comes to spiritual process. Our human vessel, if not upgraded to certain versions, then you would not be able to see things that are vibrating at that level. Does it make sense? Now, think of iPhone, iOS. You have to upgrade, right? If you have iPhone 7 right now, there are many applications on the phone that is necessary for your iOS system to be at iPhone 15 kind of an iOS, okay? Because if you have an iPhone 7 right now, you can't use the applications that are designed for iPhone 15. I'm just throwing out an analogy, or iPhone 17. So you can only upgrade not only your software, but your hardware. You have to upgrade your iPhone 7 to, you have to purchase a new phone, right? iPhone 14 maybe. Only then the applications will be able to be compatible with your iPhone 14 because the hardware has to be upgraded. Only then the software can be installed. Does it make sense? Now, so the spiritual journey is actually for upgrading your hardware and so to download software. Download and install. But if your hardware is not even able to hold such frequency, that is the software in computer science, okay? If you are not even able to download because your system can't hold it yet, not compatible. That's what I'm trying to say, not compatible. Think of iPhone, hardware, software, okay? The application. So you can't download. Then how would you be able to access to the newest type of softwares, isn't it? So the spiritual practice, like going to the gym, is basically strengthening your biceps, your body, similarly your hardware for the spiritual journey. You have to upgrade your hardware. What is it? Cleansing, decluttering your mind, cleansing your central channel, and also your left and right, okay? And it's a cleansing process. The more that you cleanse your system, declutter, the faster your hardware would be upgraded. It's a natural process. Okay, it's a natural process. So the more that you're aware of this, whatever you input, the quality of the input would slow down the upgrades of your hardware, your mind. Okay? That's why for many other videos, I have been talking about this, like decluttering your mind, how to be more mindful, so and so. And so for the human perception on spirituality, it is sometimes it's quite because there are so many different methodologies in the market to choose from. People might get lost. People might get how should I say? They would feel disoriented because of the vast the vast amount of information. And also, people might not even know which one is correct or incorrect. And not only this, on top of all of this, on top of the quantity, right? Quantity of information, like vast quantity of information. Second of all would be the credibility, right? The credibility of information. What's more is that suitability. Because even if they finally fish out whatever a methodology they finally decide on following, okay, I'm going to follow this path now. I'm going to follow this methodology. Second one, is it credible? Maybe they choose to believe that, okay, I've done all my research, it's going to be credible. Third, is it going to be suitable for them? That's different. So be aware of these three things because it has to suit a soul, a person, a being like you, like everyone else, to have dedication for one path. At the same time, the information is actually pure and genuine, authentic. And the third one is suitable for you. because everyone is unique, and not everyone is suitable for a particular path. All right, it is a trial and error process, but it's also with a lot of scientific backup. And I think I might talk about this later. But now I would like to kind of wrap up this video with the enlightenment thing. What is enlightenment when it comes to spirituality? Is that, again, this is more of a human perception on enlightenment, because we tend to think in a linear fashion. We tend to think in a linear way, like point A to point B. So people might usually see, okay, so now I am starting on my spiritual journey, then my end goal would be enlightenment, right? Usually that's what people think of, or like moksha, or like nirvana, right? That's what people usually would think. However, I'm not saying this is not true. I'm just suggesting that there are actually much more to this beyond enlightenment. Enlightenment is just the beginning. Enlightenment is just the beginning. It is not the end. Because see, everything is, every death, there's a rebirth, right? The world is eternal. There's no actually like real death. When you die here, you wake up in the spiritual realm. Suppose you have not been successfully connected to yourself, you wake up, but I'm just saying, I'm just giving like an example. You never really die. You just wake up somewhere else. Okay, like wake up from a dream. So it's like you're dreaming right now. That's why Vishnu was sleeping, dreaming. And this is the dream, the illusion, so to speak. Okay, so enlightenment, most of us would think it is the end goal of the spiritual journey. For Earth, it is understandable to think in this way because there's so much suffering, right? So people would think enlightenment would be the end goal because that is like the liberation, and you would not have any more sufferings. So people would think that is the end goal. That's valid, okay? It is an understandable concept and perception. And what I'm here to suggest is that it's actually just the beginning for something even more. Like goodness, okay, goodness. When you reach enlightenment, that's basically it's not that you die. It's basically you would then see the world in a different way, and you would just keep learning on new things. It is not an end goal, it's a beginning of something new. So you can treat yourself, your everyday, being enlightened, because every day is something new. Okay, there's no need to chase enlightenment. We can all simply embrace the understanding of being enlightened. Learning, the process of learning is being enlightened. That's what the age of enlightenment is meant for, huh? Like age of enlightenment, like Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, you're being enlightened, knowledge, new understanding. So we can all treat this enlightenment as an everyday practice, that we are receiving new learning experiences, and we are taking these little ventures every day to enjoy our experiences here. Okay, and enlightenment on certain other planets. Oh my god, you're a little bit messy. I'm talking about my hair. So now it's not. On other planets, if their system is already in unity consciousness, they don't have any kind of imbalance. Like, I wouldn't say they don't have any imbalance. It's just that it's very quickly resolved because they are in a very stable equilibrium. So dynamic equilibrium, and so any kind of chaos would be quickly resolved within themselves. So meaning this system is quite balanced. It's balanced. It's in the state. It's not still. It's not still. It's just it's just that whatever is vibrating faster, right? It would appear to be still because the wavelengths are very short. Okay, the more the fluctuation, it means that is actually lower in frequency, right? Like this is high in frequency, so it looks like it's still, and that's what in Hinduism, in Vedanta, in Buddhism, what they talk about stillness. Okay, stillness, that's what they are trying to say, but it doesn't mean that it's not moving. It is moving. But if you go to the very, like when go out of the time construct, then yes, there's no more time, and that's actually still. That is still. But whenever we're still in the time construct, it is moving very fast. Okay, so enlightenment is not an end goal. It's more of seeing the world with more understanding and clarity. And it is also another way of learning, just by standing on a different level. But it doesn't mean that this is an end goal. It doesn't mean that the learning process stops here. It doesn't mean that whoever is enlightened is superior to other beings. It doesn't mean that enlightenment is the end goal of spirituality. Because spirituality is basically you experiencing yourself. And it's an eternal learning process. Again, however you want to perceive it. Okay? And that's what it is. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you receive certain insights or information that is positive for you, for your growth. So, yeah, I thank you for your time, patience, and love and support. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.